Okay, so we're doing exercise 11A from the first year mechanics textbook, and we're looking at question 8. So we've got velocity as a function of time, and I can see that's a quadratic function. And the first thing it wants to know is find the values of t, so I'm expecting more than one answer, when p is instantaneously at rest. So it's going to be at rest when the velocity equals 0. So velocity is a fifth of 3t squared minus 10t plus 3. So you could put that into your calculator. So I'm trying to find when the velocity is 0. So basically I'm after the roots of this quadratic. So I'm going to assume it factorizes. Okay, so there's my two roots. So the fifth isn't affecting anything. In fact, when I put the 0 there, I could have just multiplied through by 5 and the fifth would have gone. So I've got t as a third and t is 3, and as we said, they said values of t. The only thing I think I want to add is seconds. Okay, right, so determine the greatest speed of p in the interval 0 to 3. So I'm going to do just a quick sketch to make sure there's no trick questions going on here. So it's a, sorry, wrong screen. Right, so I'm going to do a quick sketch. It's a positive quadratic, so it's a U-shaped graph. I've got the roots, so I know it's that shape and I know it goes through 3 and a third. Going back to this, I know that the y-intercept is 3/5. Just be careful, it's not 3 because of that fifth there. So the y-intercept is 3/5, and they've said in the question that we're just looking between t is 0 and t is 3. So we're just looking here. Okay, and it does make sense. We are fine that we've got this negative section, negative velocity. So I should have labelled my axes. Negative velocity just means it's travelling in the opposite direction. So negative time doesn't make sense, but the negative velocity is absolutely fine. So does it want the greatest speed or velocity? Right, because that does make a difference. If it wanted the greatest velocity, it would definitely be 3/5. Yeah, that is clearly in that the section I've highlighted in green, that is definitely the highest velocity. But if it wants the greatest speed, I do need to check the vertex, because if the magnitude of the velocity there is greater than 3/5, obviously it will be negative, but that would then be a greater speed. So I do need the vertex, and that does kind of explain why this is worth 4 marks. Yeah, that should be, because there'd be a few things to think about if it's worth 4 marks. So you could get you can either differentiate. It's quicker to complete the square. I mean, you can. So I just need to complete the square on this. You could actually just get that from get the vertex from your calculator as well. That would be an option. So let's complete the square. So I'm going to take the 3 out as a common factor as well, because I just want t squared. Okay. Normally I wouldn't actually bother factorising the 3, but as maybe it works quite nicely, I will just call that +1. So that's 3/5, and then I'll need an extra set of brackets for when I actually complete the square. So half of 10 over 3 is 5 over 3. And then I need to minus that squared, and I've also got the +1. So v is 3/5, let's tidy this up. So t minus 5/3 squared, minus 25 over 9. So what am I trying to do? Minus 25 over 9 plus 1. So that's going to be plus 9 over 9. It's going to be minus 16 over 9. And then multiply through by the 3/5. I've got 3/5 minus t times t minus 5/3 squared. And then I need to multiply that by the 3/5. So I can cancel those. So I think that's going to give me 16 over 15, I think. So that's going to give me the vertex at 5/3 minus 16 over 15. Right, so what we have figured out there is at the vertex, the velocity is minus 16 over 15. And actually that was important because at t is 0, the velocity is 3/5 or 0.6. So the speed is 0.6. But at our vertex, so at t is 5/3, the velocity is a minus 16 over 15. But the speed, that's just the magnitude of the velocity, is just 16 over 15. So let's get that as a decimal, so 16 over 15. So the speed is 1.07 meters per second minus 1. So it would have been a very different question if it had asked, a much easier question if it had asked the greatest velocity. So if it had asked the greatest velocity, we straight off could have said it's 0.6 meters a second, but because it asked the greatest speed, I have to give it a little bit more thought than that. Let's just double check. Are we happy with those answers? Yeah, that's what we got.